Well, it is day 2 of installing the fender flares on the 05 STI. I have to get all of the cutting done today because tomorrow the car is going down to Fuse Fabrication. We're going to be hanging out down there for a little bit because Kyle's going to weld up the rear quarter panels for us, and then I'm going to go in there after it's welded with some seam sealer. We'll get seam sealer sealed up all in there, seal everything out. Like, we don't want water, bugs, dirt, anything getting inside of those fenders, getting inside of the cabin that we can, and it's going to add a little bit of structural rigidity back to the rear fender. So today, we got to get those cut up. I'm probably also going to start on the bodywork of the front fenders, such as getting them to fit just a little bit cleaner. We'll probably go through the process of primering them, saying it's going to be a lot of bodywork stuff today with maybe a little bit of wrapping. I might wrap the front flares if we can get them like ready, good to go. We're for sure not wrapping the rears because we obviously can't till it gets welded up. So let's we'll do a quick recap and then we'll jump in this. So as you guys remember, we got the front flares installed. I need to do a little bit of body work on this one to make it fit a little bit better, but they fit relatively nicely with our wheels. I am gonna lower the car just a hair to be able to get fitment just a little bit cleaner. I have to figure something out with the fender liners in there because right now the fender liners are just kind of dangling, so I got to figure that out today. But main priority for today is to get those rear fender flares bolted up to the chassis. I don't know how I'm going to do it yet, so this first one I'm probably going to time lapse so that way I can kind of get a grip of what I'm doing, and then the next one I'll probably like walk you guys through because there's going to be a lot of guess and check on this, but I'm excited. I'm probably going to start on this side because this side it shouldn't be any more difficult. I know I got to pop these guys off. They come off somehow. They're like really on there though, but let's just get at it. Let me pull that wheel off. Let me start cutting this thing up and let me get that flare kind of figured out where he's going to live. I went ahead, I got this side cut. I tried to save the stock fender flare. There was no saving it. It snapped as soon as I started popping those clips out. It was like, haha, nope. Little pieces everywhere. So over here, I was warned about this. The rears definitely do not fit as well as the fronts. Like from right here, it looks like it contours pretty well. I got it so that way the door still opens just fine. I can close it just fine. It doesn't touch the flare. I wish there was like another riv nut or something down here, but I do understand that for the sleeker look, there isn't. So I went ahead and I put like a zip tie in there, just drilled through the frame so that way this portion's not going to come out. I'll end up putting like an actual riv nut and screw in there, but for now it works. So the major areas, I'm going to come in here and build up some body filler on the back side of that so that way I can close that gap up because that's a pretty decent gap right there. Same with about right here where it meets from fender to bumper, but aside from that, it's not bad at all. I went ahead, I sent a picture to Kyle to see what he wants me to prep for him. I know I'm going to have to sand off the paint under the flare, but I don't want to get to any of the bodywork stuff until I get all of the flares bolted up on here. So with this side down, one more side to go. These do suck cutting. Keep in mind that when you do cut this, you only want to cut the outer skin off. You want to try to keep as much of the inner skin as possible. So just keep that in mind. With that side cut, and with this side all flared out now, let's go do the other side. We got this. That's all we got left. That's all we got left. Let's do it. So I have what I feel like is the worst part done, which is the cutting. Because the cutting actually sucks. Metal goes everywhere. Even with safety glasses on, it still manages to get up in there. I need ones that actually like suction cup to my face. Because when you wear contacts and you get like metal in your eye, dear God, does it hurt. But pretty happy with this. I sent some pictures down to Kyle. Kyle, if you watch this video, I apologize for cutting the passenger side so much shorter than the driver's side. The grinder got away from me on the passenger side, but I did a lot better on this side. Well, I feel like I did for my first time doing this. So as you guys can see, the inner sheet metal right here is what I decided to leave. Well, you need to leave it so that way the fabricator or whoever's going to be welding it, Kyle in this case is going to be welding it. That way he can come in here and weld all of this shut. I am putting seam sealer on this for those who were asking. I've got a giant tube of seam sealer right there just to make sure that no water or anything does get up in here. We don't want any nature going in here. But overall, pretty happy with the cuts that we have on here. I decided to not cut all the way down right there because it's not really needed. Our wheel isn't really going that far forward. So I decided to leave all that. So I went through, I grinded all the paint off where Kyle's going to be welding. And I've got all these tabs kind of like bent outwards. I'm sure he's gonna make some adjustments to those. Dude's a wizard whenever it comes to any metal fab stuff. I am a dude in a garage. But now that we have this cut, let's locate where the flares are gonna go. Let's get the holes drilled for the flares. Flare, single, and then we can get the other wheel on, pull it outside into the daylight, and actually see what this thing looks like with some wide body boy action. She a thick lemon or a wide banana, whatever you want to go with. Wide banana. Yo, the rears came out fire. This side actually is not terrible. There is some spots where I'm gonna have to add some material, as you can see right there, but it actually contours to the bumper on this side a lot better than it did on the other side. So I'm pretty happy with that. The little add-ons for the doors, I'm gonna figure something out. I really don't want to 3M those on. I'd rather find like a more permanent solution. I'm debating fiberglassing some studs in the back of these, locating them on the door, and then drilling them, like drilling holes in the door and then mounting them from the inside. But the problem with that is the window, when it comes down at an angle, so I don't want the door to hit the studs. So that's just something I'm gonna have to figure out on another day. Over here, I still have to take this side back off and like grind down all the paint over here so that way Kyle can weld on it. But I'm not going to be focusing too much on the rears right now. Now we're going to jump up to the fronts. Up here, this flare needs a little bit of love to get it nice and smooth. So I'm going to have to do some sanding on here, some filling. I'm going to have to pop that dent out back there, do all sorts of fun stuff with that. Once we get that flare happy and fitted and it looks good, then we're going to paint that one. But I am going to pull this one off right now because I'm happy with the fitment on this one. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to wipe it down with some isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to spray some primer on it. So if we come in here, that is Fast Dry Body Filler. Boom! I got this 2-in-1 sand fill primer, and then I got a whole bunch of different grits of sandpaper, some masking tape, JB Weld. I don't know why I got JB Weld. I figured I'll probably need it for something. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. So let's get that flare off the car, get some cardboard laid down, do a primer base coat on there. We'll let that dry. While that dries, we'll come over here and we'll start getting this fender to sit just a little bit better, so I'm a little bit happier with it. Once we get fitment on that one, we'll wrap this, paint the fender, wrap the fender flare, get it back on there. And then the goal is to try to get the front end done as much as possible, but we'll see how far we actually get on that. Follow me.
Yo, give it a stage in a minute, I'ma eat you. El professor is in the house, let me teach you. I could defeat you with 2 hands tied and have you waking in the hospital like, who am I? And who are you? Who are they? What is this? You wouldn't believe how someone react to this shit. The mind slips, slipping, speaking in tongues. Sly ink, GVA, that's how we get it done. 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 Sly ink, GVA, that's how we get it done.
If you're someone who does body work, I have a whole new respect for you. I have a whole new level of respect for you because this takes forever. Granted, it's all in the prep work. If all the prep work, if all the prep work goes well, this should look fire. It should look just fire. I've been going for like 2 hours on body work on just this fender and fender flare. It's ridiculous. So I came in here with body filler and filled up all the low spots where the flare just really pulled out, and these were the major areas where damage was on the fender. So I went in and filled them up. I just put a sandable primer on here. I'm gonna let this dry. The main reason I did that is that way it lets me see the high spots and the low spots, so that way I can smooth it out. Like up here, I think I did a really good job because you get it just blends very well. Same with down here along where the body filler was. So I'm waiting for that to dry before I start sanding it again. And then over here, I have this flare with the first coat of the black on it. I'm gonna let this sit for probably about 20-25 minutes. I'll put another coat of the black on it. Then I'm gonna hit it with 1000 grit paper, do one more coat of black, and then do 2 coats of, or actually, you know, I'm probably only gonna do 1 coat of clear coat just because we're wrapping them. I just need a smooth surface on those flares to be able to wrap them. So let me get back to body work, I guess. So it is the next day now. Yesterday I just kind of stopped filming because it was just body work on body work on body work on body work on painting, on sanding, on body work, on body filling, on sanding, on painting. Like I was probably doing it till like 10:30 at night last night, and it was just like super repetitive going back and forth with the camera. So let me show you guys what's up now and then kind of what we're doing today. I think this is gonna be a longer video. I don't apologize. So yesterday I went through and I got all of these prepped. I filled in any spots that needed to be filled in with body filler. I went through, I put primer on them, sanded them down, put black paint on them, sanded them down, put gloss on them. Now I have them out here off gassing, so I can't actually wrap these until they're fully off gassed. Whenever it comes to spray paint, you've got like 3 stages of spray paint. You've got liquid when it's still in the can, and when it's like actually on the part. You've got dry to the touch where you can touch it, it's not gonna mess with the paint or anything like that. And then you've got after it's been off gassed, all the VOCs have been evacuated from the paint. That's kind of when it stops smelling. Typical time is around 48 hours, so the better ventilation I can get with these will help them off gas. So I have them just kind of sitting outside right now, so that way they can just kind of do their thing. And then back here, I have the last flare. I just put the last coat of black paint on here, so that is curing. After the black paint is cured in probably about an hour or so, I'll put the clear coat on there. Then that one will go outside with the rest of them. On this, so you guys already know I got the rears cut. We're going over to Kyle's tonight around 6 o'clock, so that way he can weld up the rears for us. Up here on the fender, I am not looking for like a perfect finish on here, but pretty much all I wanted to do with this is just get it all smooth, so that way when it's wrapped and when the flare's on there, you're not really gonna see any like differentiation in body work. So just keep in mind, I figured I had already cut up the fender. There's no point in me spending 5 hours to get this thing looking absolutely perfect. It's good enough for what we're doing, so I need to let that off gas as well. After that's been off gassed, we can wrap this fender. So I think the main focus I'm going to do right now is go ahead and wrap the bumper. Oh yeah, we also had a Sparko seat show up for the 17 STI, which is nice. In all honesty, it's like 4 hours in the future from that time lapse that you guys just saw. I have been working on that bumper non-stop all day. I have the majority of it done. I'm not done with it yet. There are so many small parts on the 05's bumper that you have to wrap. You have to wrap the bumper, you have to wrap the inlays for the grill, you have to wrap the like STI little like side skirt dealios that go on the side of the bumper that have the winglets on them, you have to wrap the fog light covers. I have canards I have to put on there. I just put the lip on there. I'm pretty happy with how the bumper looks now. I kind of messed up in one spot, but I was able to save it by putting an inlay on the bumper. Just keep in mind, this bumper is the hardest thing I've ever wrapped. Hands down, it is the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, it's like playing Rock Band on expert difficulty with your eyes closed and a guitar that has like 2 buttons broken and they want you to pass with like 90%. This side of the bumper came out very, very good. I'm very happy with this side of the bumper. The fender did kind of squish the wrap on the top of it a little bit. Not too worried about that though. I still have to do the fog light covers. Those little winglets on the side that you see down there, those took about an hour each. Like those took a while. Coming around, you can see, boom, it still looks the same over here with the exception of that little black square right there, but that's getting cut off for the fender flare. Right up here is where I messed up. You really can't notice it unless you're hardcore looking, but I ended up doing an inlay seam going along this like winglet on the headlight here just because the wrap ripped right there. I was like, I'm not wasting another 10 feet of wrap for this bumper. Like, I'm not gonna waste it. I will figure something out. So I ended up going with that. Like, honestly, from right here, even up close, you can't even tell unless like you're really hardcore looking for it. But it's about 6 o'clock, so it is time to swing back down to fuse fabrication. I got to throw a headlight in on this side. I have to wire in and finish bolting up that headlight over there. And then we're gonna hop in the car, swing down to fuse. Kyle down there, our magician, is going to go ahead and weld up our rear quarters for us. When we get back, we'll throw some seam sealer on them, get the rears all sealed up, and then after that, I think tomorrow I can do these giant A-pillar pieces and wrap all of these flares that have been off-gassing for the past, I don't know, 20 hours or so. Let's go swing down to fuse so that way he can do his fabricating magic. Kyle's welding up the rear quarters on the car right now. I did the best I could with the cutting. He said there's still usable material there, so getting those welded up. After they're welded up, we'll take it back up to the house. I'll throw some seam sealer in there. We'll get it all sealed up. Put some paint over the top of it, let it dry and cure till tomorrow. Wrap the rear quarters, and then we should be good to go for the most part on the flare setup. Get these things welded up, swing back to the house. Back down from Kyle. So we're literally just in and out at Kyle's. He got the rears welded up beautifully. He put like this nice flat panel underneath like where the wheel sits, just in case we ever have the event where the wheel arch actually touches the tire. It's not going to puncture it, it's not going to stab it, it's not going to poke through anything like that. So huge shout out to Kyle at Fuse Fabrication for fitting us into his busy schedule to weld the rears on this turd. Now that the rears are welded up, we can go ahead and put seam sealer over it to seal it all up, to make sure that no weathering elements, spiders, bugs, anything gets into the car, because that's the last thing that we want. Also, update on the 17 STI. What the hell is happening? Update on the 17 STI. Kyle ordered a flange to build a new oil pan. A whole bunch of smaller stuff is going on with that car right now. So when the time comes, he said it should be coming back up to us in about a week or two. So, you know, there's that. So let's go ahead and get the rear of this jacked up. Let's get the rear put on jack stands, the rear wheels taken off, and let's seam seal it up with this urethane seam sealer from 3M. The good stuff. So we got seam sealer on both of the wheel arches, covering up all the welds anywhere where any type of weathering, water, spiders, bugs, anything could get into the car, which is exactly what we want. So I need to let this cure before I can even do anything in this area. I honestly don't think there's much more I can do tonight. I can't do the big pillar until that dries, same with the other side. The bumper is pretty much done at this point. I've been debating, like, I think I'm gonna end up leaving the little STI fog light covers black. I think it like offsets the bumper a decent bit. Plus, I don't know, I feel like it'd be way too yellow up here with them wrapped yellow. I don't know, what do you guys think? Leave the fog light covers black or wrap them yellow? I think they look kind of good black. I think it helps break up the contrast a little bit. I don't know. I totally forgot I still have the side skirts that I have to wrap too. I have side skirts, flares, rear quarter panel, A-pillar pieces, one fender left. There's a lot still. I think the goal for tomorrow, for me at least, is to get the front end completely done. That's going to be wrapping the flares, getting that other fender done, getting the bumper like finished, getting it back on the car. But we made a lot of good progress. We fixed the fender over there. Did we even wrap anything? We wrapped the bumper, so that was one of the harder components. We made a lot of good progress regardless. Like, doing projects like this, you got to take your time. If you try to rush things, it's not going to come out good. You're not going to be happy with the end result. So make sure you guys take your time when going through stuff. If it's something new and you've never done before, like body work for me, hey, perfect learning opportunity. But anyways, that's all I got for you guys on this one. So if you liked the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button. Turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan. Color of the day is still yellow because duh. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be, one of these corners. No idea which one your boy's going to put them in yet. Quite yet. But with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, homies. Woo!